Laura Pierre-Escaye, who is going to be chatting with us about her experience as a mother, a parent of a child with a disability. It's going to be a very informative couple of minutes. I hope you all, as always, tune in, ask your questions. We'll read them off. You'll see me ducking in and out to get the questions off the screen, and we'll get started in a couple seconds. We're always waiting for people to come in just to roll in. So as we see the numbers building a little bit, then we will continue and start getting the
chat going.
Yeah, the thing going. A little bit distracted. With live, anything can happen.
20 minutes. Maximum 20 minutes.
Okay, good. Right? So you shared it to the forum already? We have a couple of people helping us here tonight, so you're going to see me, talking with them in and out. Right, so there we go. So we have 11 people with us so far, and it continues growing. So we're going to introduce. So we're going to introduce officially now, because we're in the forum now. We were waiting for the video to be shared, so we're just kind of chatting a little bit. We're going to officially introduce my friend Laura Pierre-Escaye to all of you all. I met Laura about 2 years ago at on the set of TV6's Ultimate Karaoke. She's a fantastic singer, and she was a judge on that show. I was doing makeup and all that kind of stuff for the judges on the program, and Laura and I really connected and stayed in contact and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really, really happy to have her here tonight to talk to us.
Thank you, Alicia. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to share with everyone. Is it all good?
Someone said they can't hear. We're here in a day, so
yeah. We good to go.
Yeah.
Of course, you all is still live, so we're still kind of working out a couple of kinks because we're doing a new setup. You remember last week we were in Canupia in the bush, so the setup was a little bit different, a little bit different that time. So we're just trying to work it out. So bear with us for a couple of minutes, right? So tonight we're talking about Laura and Laura's son Isaiah specifically. So Laura is going to tell us a little bit about Isaiah and about herself and all that kind of stuff.
All right.
Basically tell her story.
All right, well, I just want to start off by saying that I'm a regular girl like everybody else, with my own challenges, my own background. Sometimes in Trinidad people meet you and they tend to judge you a little bit based on what you look like, or where they assume you come from based on what you look like. But again, I'm like every other woman in this forum who comes from humble beginnings, and who had dreams for my life, and I was pursuing things, a career in music, and then my world came crashing down before my world was rebuilt with a newer and stronger foundation. Alicia basically started by explaining what happened with Isaiah.
Right.
I was about 27 when I got married, and my husband's dad had just died, and we were going through this crazy kind of phase because my music project, I had an album out at the time. This was about 14, 15 years ago, and I was well on my way. I felt as if I was well on my way to building a solid music career internationally. And then, like most independent record companies, we ran out of money. Record companies were not exactly rushing to us and saying, okay, we want the project. So things crashed for a little bit.
Right.
And inside of that period where things crashed, I was challenged to write my second album. And my husband went off. My husband is a filmmaker and a musician and I'm a music producer. And he got fed up with the music business and he said, if you want it, you write your album. Right. You do it, you show me that you want it. And I said, okay. So I sat down and I wrote the second album. And I was shocked that he was impressed. He's my biggest critic. And we thought that we were just going to be on the way to recording the second album. Then his dad died. He's the only child in the country, and his mom asked us to move in with her, so we did. And then soon after, like maybe a month after, we got married. We have been together for about 7 years anyway, so it made sense. We got married. And bills were mounting. I went and I got a 9-to-5 job to pay off a loan. So I was seeing things crumbling. In a sense, things started crumbling. And in my mind, I kept telling myself, no, I'll get back to it. I'll get back to the music and everything will be fine. And then we got married, and about 6 months into the marriage, I got pregnant.
And that's supposed to be a really happy time, right?
That's supposed to be a really happy time.
Right.
But for me, I'll admit that I was very emotionally immature. Even at 27, I was very emotionally immature. And I was not happy at all about being pregnant. So I went through the entire pregnancy, sometimes happy, sometimes not. But I just kept telling myself, well, you know, the baby will come and it's going to be a girl, because we wanted a girl, and I'll be able to put the baby in daycare and continue the job and continue trying to find my way back to music and recording music and performing and all of that. And then at about 7.5 months, I went into labor. There was absolutely no indication that anything was wrong with Isaiah in utero. The doctor would keep saying, measurements are fine, everything's looking fine, baby's moving around, growing normally and all of that. So I went into early labor, and I had him at the Port of Spain hospital. He came out and he was having trouble breathing. Right. So they rushed him to an incubator or something like that. Whatever they had to do, and they did it. They brought him for me. I looked at him, I was like, yeah, okay, because I was really exhausted. And then I took Isaiah home the next day. But it was shocking to my system. First of all, having an actual child, a physical life,
to take care of now
in front of me. But as the days went by, a few things started happening. He couldn't latch onto the breast. I certainly couldn't figure out how to breastfeed properly. And about a week into after his birth, we took him to Dr. David Bratt, pediatrician. And Dr. Bratt said, well, you know, this child has lost a lot of weight. He put me to work with a lactation consultant who helped me to understand breastfeeding. But again, Isaiah couldn't latch on because his muscle tone was very low, which was an indication that maybe something was wrong. So he was dropper fed, spoon fed, until he was able to latch on with a little device that we had to put on the breast for him to be able to latch on. And then as time just started going by, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we started realizing something not right. Because he couldn't raise his head. He would vomit and his face would just remain down in the vomit. He wasn't turning, he wasn't doing anything, like he wasn't achieving any of the milestones that babies normally achieve. And every time we'd go to the doctor, he would say, all right, he's not achieving the milestones, but let's just give him time. Because the thing about children and their development is that although there are some set markers, which I eventually do, every child is still different. And so typically pediatricians give them time to just develop and see when they achieve this or when they achieve, because some children will just achieve things later than others. Eventually, when Isaiah was 10 months old, Dr. Bratt said to me, well, to Francis and I, okay, it's time to get worried. He needs to go into therapy. Something is wrong. It was definite. Something is wrong. Now, every time I left Dr. Bratt's office, in the lead up to that 10-month marker, I'd be crying. because I had people asking me all the time, so what he doing now? So what he doing now?
Right.
I told you this, you know. I told you that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, family included.
Right.
I told you. What is he doing? What is he doing? And it was frustrating for me because I knew that this child was not developing as he should. And I was feeling, I don't want to say embarrassed, but I just felt off kilter. Like, why is my baby not doing what he's supposed to be doing?
Right.
And this is new and it's confusing.
And it's your first child.
And it's my first child. So when Dr. Brad said that, and then eventually we got a diagnosis because based on some of the some issues with Isaiah's skin, he was able to look at that in addition to his developmental issues and say, okay, you need to take him to this dermatologist. Let her diagnose him. And she gave us his diagnosis. And the diagnosis was a rare gene disorder called incontinentia pigmenti. Incontinentia pigmenti causes what is called global developmental delays. And global developmental delays means that your child is all around delayed in their development. So everything from when they're supposed to turn over, to walking, to talking, being able to pick up things with what you call the pincer grasp, none of it was happening for Isaiah, and he was floppy, he had low muscle tone, he couldn't sit up, he couldn't push up on his arms. I would put him in a stroller, he'd just flop over.
Wow.
But he was really, really, I don't mean to sound vain, but he was so cute. He was so cute, and he was being breastfed, and he was nice and fat, and he would jiggle. We used to call him Michelin Man, you know, with all the tires
on his arms.
Oh gosh. So he was just really cute and really sweet, and he would always give me the biggest smiles. But poor guy, he couldn't do anything beyond give me a smile. But Isaiah and I bonded a lot because we spent every moment together. And when he was able to breastfeed, he was like my third breast. He was always there. So we went to an occupational therapist at 10 months old. Occupational therapists, for those of you who don't know what occupational therapists do, occupational therapy deals with activities for daily living. So you go to a physiotherapist for rehabilitation of your body. An occupational therapist will help with some of the things to do with your body. But those things how should I put it? The things that you need to do to be able to take care of yourself and achieve independence, those are the things that occupational therapists help you to work toward. And so I started a very intensive program with this occupational therapist. There was one in the country at the time, a foreigner, called Sarah Stevens. Sarah started working with Isaiah. I was putting in all the work at home with him, teaching him everything. How to roll over, how to push up on his arms, how to sit up, how to hold on to something and just pull himself up. I mean, it was intense, it was a lot, but I was prepared to do the work. And I started seeing results eventually. From there, let me see, when Isaiah was about 15 months old, a friend of mine organized for me to take him to the Immortal Center for Special Ed, which is in St. Anne's. And I met up with the principal there, Jackie Leoto. Jackie has a daughter who is now 40 years old, and she's mentally challenged. So Jackie decided she would reopen, they used to have a nursery area for babies with special needs. So she reopened that nursery, took in Isaiah to give me a break, because I was also emotionally spent. At that point, I was breaking down.
Right. Because I can well imagine what you've been going through, or had been going through at that point in time. A new baby, all these different issues, family members, the pressure from that, then you having to deal with it every day. And what is the support like in Trinidad, or was like in Trinidad at that point in time? It's
a little better now. my support came from Dr. Bratt. It came from the occupational therapist, Sarah. It came from my husband. And it started coming from different people I met at that point who either had children with special needs, Jackie Lioto, my neighbor who was a speech therapist turned yogi, who is now a hippotherapist practice, which is horse therapy.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
Using horses to give therapy to children.
Right.
So it came from different people, different pockets, but it took me a while to wrap my mind around the fact that I had a child like this and that my life was never going to be the same. And my biggest question was why? Because my friends will tell you I'm like the Oprah. I'm the Oprah in the girls, in the group, right? So I used to be always philosophizing and thinking, well, and encouraging people and trying to motivate people. And doing the whole positive thinking thing. But this hit me like a ton of bricks.
Right.
And I thought I would not recover. So for example, when I got the diagnosis, I cried for 2 weeks straight.
Okay.
People who I would not normally have conversations with would call the house and I'd be telling them what was happening. And then I'd ask myself, why did I just talk to this person about this and how I'm feeling? So it was overwhelming. But what was happening at the same time to me, which was odd in a sense, was that I started asking questions to try and understand what was going on in the country as a whole with disabilities. Because when I walked into the Immortal Center,
Right.
in fact, my first experience was not the Immortal Center. My first experience was when I went to meet Sarah for therapy. And she was stationed at a school called the Life Center. And I walked in and I had Isaiah. And all these children with special needs swarmed, literally swarmed around me. And I was scared, shitless, excuse my language. I was scared.
This is the forum, huh?
This is the forum. I was scared because I was like, they're going to hurt him, they're going to try to hurt me. What was this? It was weird because I'd never experienced it
Before.
And then the teachers, they were like, no, they're not going to hurt. They're just curious about the baby. They're just curious. They're seeing a new baby and they want to touch and
Because
it's okay.
that is an issue that comes up very often. A lot of people are actually quite afraid of even children with special needs, and you wonder why.
Ignorance. Ignorance.
So do you think you were in that position at that point in time?
I was in that position because I had never had to deal with anybody with special needs.
Right.
Not in my family, not in extended family, not friends, not anybody. So that was my first experience. I was scared. But then when I went to the Immortal Center, and every day I'd go with Isaiah for like about a month to get him used to being there. And I started talking with the principal and asking her questions about, so do you all have grants for the children for the ministry? And so how many schools like this are there? And so what support systems do they have, like with therapy for children? And when she started answering, I was shocked at what I was hearing, which was, there's nothing. And there's more nothing.
A little more nothing.
A little more nothing.
Right.
So at that point, I started thinking, okay, what can I do to help? Because I started thinking, if I'm feeling this way, if I'm going through this, and there are thousands of other people going through this, then what can I do to help? What can I do to change things?
Right, so before we get to the point where you started to change things, because obviously this is a story of evolution and growth and knowing that you were faced with a situation and you turned it into something that is positive. Tell me a little bit about your regular, before we get into all of that, like your life, your day-to-day life with Isaiah now. Isaiah is now 12 years old going on 13, right? So this is 12 years of you're an experienced Yeah. And you've gone through a lot. So tell us what like a typical day is like, what Isaiah is capable of doing for himself, what, you know.
Okay,